Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This morning it is my beautiful privilege to introduce to you again Dr. Alka as a guest speaker on our platform, and of course Mr. David Nair, who is the founder of this mastermind and Fire to Wire concept. This morning they're going to be talking about neuroplasticity and the monkey brain and how we can control that and how we can learn to use it so much better. So over to you, Dr. Alka and David. Thank you so much.
So David, you want to start?
Happy morning, happy morning. Go ahead, Alka.
So with this beautiful meditation, what have you felt inside of your heart when the music was going and we were trying to focus, connecting with our own selves? And let's say that we want to do something in our life. Let's take one project in your own life, which you want to do, whatever it may be. What are the thoughts that come into your mind? I want you all to share only 15 seconds, each person. Just one line, like for me, I always say when I have to start something new, for me, my line is, I don't have time. Okay. That is my song. I sing to myself all the time. Or it could be that I'm not good enough. So like this, I want one line from each one of you, whoever wants to share. What is that one line which comes into your mind when you want to start a new chapter in your life, a new project in your life? Anybody can speak without raising your hand. It's okay.
Okay, for me, it's you don't have to be perfect. Just start.
Wonderful. Very nice. So perfectionism is an enemy of being good and being excellent. So excellence is. Anybody else? Just one line.
For me, at times, can I do it?
Can I do it? Wonderful. Yes, can I do it?
For me, it's I am scared, but I can do it.
Wonderful. There's fear. Fear is always there in all of us. Yeah.
I think I'm prepared, but I might forget.
One line. I'm prepared, but is mine?
Yeah, I forget.
I forget. All right. So we've got around 5 to 6. Yes, Nisha.
How will I manage is the...
How will I manage? Yes. How am I going to manage? So most of these are inner voices which are coming from inside of us. And where is it coming from? These are the stories we tell ourselves, and sometimes we're not aware of these stories. And we are telling them to ourselves for a long period of time. And we are not allowing ourselves to progress further because of these inner voices. So these stories are coming from a place called primitive brain, or the amygdala. The amygdala is a very small part at the back of the brain. And this comes from long back, when we were our ancestors, and when we were thousands of years back, when we were hunters and we were gatherers. So the purpose of this amygdala was of survival. It was to make us like aware of the danger which is coming in front of us, and to be aware and to run away. So it is the flight or fight or freeze. So when we get these voices from ourselves, we can either do fight or flight, or we can freeze. So many a times we freeze. It's okay. All of us are doing that. We're not even aware that we're doing that. I'll give you a small example. 35 to 36 years back, and all of us have gone through this kind of a phase in our lives, I was about to leave my job and I'd already resigned from my job. I was starting my private practice, and I was pregnant, and 9 months pregnant. It was one evening, I was sitting at home and my waters broke, and I was rushed to the hospital, and I was scared. I was having excruciating pain, and I was so scared that I didn't know what was going to happen. And if you're a mother or a father, you know that time of your life when you're going to be blessed with another child or another responsibility, how scared we are. Like, Nisha said, and everyone said, how can I do it? How will I manage it? I'm so scared. Can I do it? Can I not do it? So these are the fear factors which come into us, and it is, to fight with fear is a skill, I would say. So at that time, I decided, when the baby came into my arms, I was looking at the baby's eyes, and the baby was looking into my eyes. It was a moment, of fear, but also of something else which was happening inside of me. As I was looking into the eyes of this baby, and I was so scared that what kind of child I'm going to bring this child up into, what kind of mother I'm going to be. But at that time, I got a thought, like an epiphany, like a eureka moment, like an aha moment. This is my gift from God, from the universe. And I'm going to be the best mom in the world. And that gave me the courage. It's a shifting of your thoughts at that particular moment of fear. And installing that thought, first to audit that thought, that to accept the fear, then to install that thought, and then to work across that thought. And when I decided that I'm going to be the master of my destiny, I'm going to be the master of my fate, it was then I felt so grateful for this child. And when gratitude comes into our life, everything changes, all our thoughts change. And go ahead and do it. That is another thought. Okay, now I'm going to do this because I've decided I'm going to do it. Like Enya said, I'm afraid, but I can do it. She added that one, I can do it. That I can do it is a very, very important affirmation, friends. And when we do it afraid, when we face the fear afraid, when we face the challenges afraid, it's okay. And we get the courage to do what we have to do. Bravery is not about not having fear. Bravery is about having the courage to face the life and the challenges as they come. We can freeze in that moment, and we can hide somewhere, and we can procrastinate. That is one way of doing it. I've been doing it a lot of times. The other way is to
Please,
change the thought.
in the other one, just ask Paul.
What happened?
Sorry, Miriam, can you just mute yourself? Thank you.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about, the primitive brain. And we will be talking about the hacks, how to change the primitive brain thoughts into the positive thoughts. Over to you, David. What do you want to say?
Journey from A to B for most people is a struggle. And you got to face that because we come from a hunter mentality. That's how we were. As cavemen, we always had to go out and search for food. So my journey is similar to what Alka had with the birth. My journey was slightly different in that what happened to me was I was so fearful of even meeting and talking any of my relatives when they came to my home in Malaysia. I used to hide under my mother's sari, under the petticoat, if you know what that means. For some of the Indian ladies, yeah, they're grinning. But that's where I used to find comfort. But then both my parents said, this is not going to help this kid. Let's get him out of the house. So they threw me out of home, sent me to a place called Australia where I studied. And in the course of doing that, I was exposed. This is why I keep promoting. I was exposed. You need to be exposed. That exposure is what got me to rethink and reframe my primitive brain. It got me to think, what should I do? Doing what I'm doing is not going to get me anywhere. Definition of insanity. Continue to do what you're doing, hope to get a different result is insanity. And I had to shift. So my shift happened when I started working with different people. And one of my best persons at work who stretched me was Jerry Ramsbottom, my senior boss, the vice president for Alka, who used to be based in Brisbane. And he pushed me. I think one of you would have heard my story yesterday. Every situation I was thrown into, I had a different dimension. And that gave me the confidence that 2006, I think, 2006, 2007, I had the comfort to address, I use the word comfort, to address open air stadium, 40,000 people. Now, that's not to boast, that's to say, that's my story. How does a person who was crippled from speaking got to that? You need to fight that primitive reptilian brain. It's there constantly. Thank you, Alka.
I want to ask you another question, that how much time are you prepared to spend with yourself, not looking at the phone or not looking at the screen, not reading a book, not listening to music, not doing anything? How many of you are ready to spend that time with yourself, and how much time? Just you can put it in the chat box, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, just put it in the chat box. I'll read the answer from there. How much of time are we ready to invest in our own selves? Looking for the chat box, no answer. Somebody put up the hand. 1 hour, Sirath is saying 1 hour, 10 minutes, 10 minutes extra one day. Sanika is 15 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Oh, yes, we have a fantastic batch. So now this batch is so good, you know, trained by Anda, by Mariam, and all of you fantastic teachers out here. So you don't need this kind of talk that I'm talking about today because you're ready to spend that much of time. You know why? Because when you spend that much of time with your own self, and when you focus and you concentrate on what you really want in your life and you connect with your own self, the amygdala is completely gone. The amygdala is very angry. The amygdala is saying, why are you focusing so much? There's so much work to do. Come on, get up and do that work. There's dishes lying in the kitchen. There's so much of work lying there. Why are you sitting quietly? So the amygdala is always, you know, pulling us away somewhere else. And sometimes, you know, when we want to do some work, it will say, why don't you take some rest? You have done enough work for the day, and the negative things will keep on pouring from the amygdala. So what is a hack that we can use to take us away from the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex? The prefrontal cortex, I told you last time, it's an organ which will become bigger in size when we are planning, executing, doing the things. When David says massive action, today morning we had a session and one of our friends wanted to know, what can I do? So he said massive action, and that's what we're talking about. We can focus, and that focusing helps to increase our quality of our structure of our brain, especially the prefrontal cortex. And what are we focusing on? Number one, it could be our own self. Number two, it could be an image. It could be any one thought. It could be center of our head. It could be a sound like what we did in the morning today. And very beautifully took us to the meditation with that lovely music. She has great music playing, and I really congratulate you, Anda, for that lovely music. So the music is a vehicle to take us, you know, to within ourselves. So that is one thing. What other things that we can do to drive us away and hack and, you know, actually trick our amygdala to do what we have to do? And most important thing is to have thoughts which are not negative, to have the positive thoughts, which we are talking about all the time in Fire to Wire. When we get a negative thought, let us say the negative thought is, she told me that, and she did that to me, or he did that to me, or he didn't do that for me. And the point is, when we keep our gatekeeper strong, all that David is saying all the time, the same thing. And when we can push that negative thought away, replace it with the positive thought. She didn't do anything wrong. It is my reaction to what she said. And it is me who is judging that particular situation. And when I take charge of that situation, when I become aware, when I analyze it, I realize that it is not that person's fault, or it's not that person, it is me. And when I focus my attention to me, the hack is gone from amygdala, from negativity to positivity. How I can change the situation, how I can make the situation better. It could be between friendships, it could be in the colleagues. Colleagues is very, very easy because the boss can be a person who is a toxic person, but let's not go there. I'm just trying to say a scenario at home. It could be in the office, or it could be within friends. Many times, you know, we say, she didn't call me up. Why should I call her up? That's the amygdala. Okay. But this person is telling you, call up. And let me tell you, friends, when we call up that friend, let us say we have not spoken to her for 5-6 months, how happy you feel when you've called her up, how happy she feels when she receives your call. So it's one thing I tell you, ego is another part of amygdala, which holds us back and which doesn't allow us to do what we have to do in our life. So the point is to slash our ego, and our amygdala hates it. When we slash our ego, it come and tell you, why? You're this, you're that. Why are you doing this? You are the head of the department. You should not be taking this shit. You should not be doing this. And these are the voices which keep coming to us and which sabotage us and which keeps us from going forward. Over to you, David.
Yeah, I heard earlier when you started, thank you so much, Alka, so true. I heard earlier when you started, you spent some time on self-development. At the same time, guys, in today's arena, you have so much online courses, so many online sessions. Everybody is registering for one session, another session, another session. You end up becoming a seminar junkie. What is the amygdala saying? Very comfortably, good, let me go and home myself there. What I'm saying to you is, go and just master one skill, specialize in it, and then go and put the traction on the road and make it happen. Don't jump from one seminar to another seminar, one talk to another talk, and guess where you're going to go? Nowhere. Nowhere. And that's the power. You need to now screen, what are you really learning? Why do you think we put purpose in front there? The amygdala hates purpose because the purpose is a driver. The purpose turns around and tells you, I am the backbone. This ribs is protecting the internal organ. So this backbone has to be strong. So what you got to do now is stick to the purpose and start differentiating the activities that you do to create turmoil in the amygdala, such that you build up your frontal cortex. The idea is to build the frontal cortex, not allow the backbone be shredded away because the amygdala likes to go and hunt, likes to stay at home, likes to do the comfort things. Don't be a victim of that. I'm going to tread on very, very, very tenacious ground here. Even when I sit here sometimes and I hear some of you coming and unloading, you are actually repeating an anchor that you've been carrying for yourself for many, 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 many years. That's not going to help you. Think about it. Learn the modules from here. Learn the suggestions and tools that Miriam and all the others are providing. Go home and think and reflect and introspect and work on it. Guess what happens when you do that? You shift. It causes an upset in the amygdala. Rather than listening to here, not doing anything with it, going back home and tomorrow coming back and regurgitating the same issues again. Are you recalling what I'm saying? Some of you would straight away pick this. So my sincere suggestion to you is, listen to the players here who are suggesting things to you. The Anyas, the Andas, the Mariams, the Rashnas. Listen to them. Even sometimes even Sonali when she comes on stage. Listen to them. Take a clip of it. Go back. You see, you notice Alka just picks up words, massive action. Now she goes and she remembers this word, massive action. Do that. Practice it. And that'll crush your amygdala and it'll build your frontal cortex. Thank you so much, Alka.
So today, if we can decide on one action that I'm going to take, let us say I want to write a book and I'm not able to start writing a book. So let us say that I write every day for 5 minutes, only 5 minutes. Forget the number of words, forget the number of anything, just simple steps we'll take. Suppose if somebody wants to start going to the gym. I don't know how many of you go to the gym. I used to go to the gym long back and I stopped going to the gym because of whatever reasons. I told myself that it's difficult and I have knee pain and I'm not going to do this and all the stories I was telling. And there was my friend who had got a cruciate ligament tear when she was on the treadmill. So I stopped going to the gym for the stories that I told myself. But let me tell you, friends, that now when I started going to the gym about 5 to 6 months back, first and foremost, I started with very, very small time. My son told me, Mama, you just come for 10 minutes. And that was the best thing that he did to me. You know, it was not a difficult thing for me to start with 10 minutes of gymming. Out of that, the 5 minutes went on stretching. And the last 1 or 2 minutes went on stretching. And actually, I was doing very little gym part, you know. So like this today, if you can decide, you know, what is it that you want to change in your life or what you want to bring in your life. So one thing you want to bring in your life, you want to start doing silence time, or you want to write a book, or it could be any activity that you want to start. So start doing it for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, even if it is silent. And silence time, you're all doing 10 minutes and 2 hours and 3 hours, you're all doing. So not bad at all. It could be something new that you want to start doing, a new skill you want to learn, a new language you want to learn. So let us start with doing it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and celebrate that thing that we do it. So like, you know, when my dad used to say, make the bed in the morning, that is one task accomplished. And that is a task which you feel happy when you've done the bed, you feel happy. And that is one win that you have. So if we can celebrate our small wins, when we start doing something and when we celebrate it, we get dopamine. And that the amygdala hates it, you know, when we are having dopamine, when we're having serotonin. The other thing that I want to talk about today is that we start doing this thing, but the reason that we're having this talk today is that amygdala takes us down, 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 and it takes us to depression, it takes us to anxiety. And that is something we don't want to go there. And today our youngsters are facing this problem a lot because of sitting in front of the screen and, they're waiting, using the social media for validation is the saddest thing that our children are doing. Even we are doing that. We are waiting for validation from social media, and that is taking us down. The amygdala wants that somebody should say something to us, but actually speaking, we don't want anybody to say anything to us. If we can validate ourselves and we can elevate our self-esteem, self-confidence from within ourselves, some anchor. When David is saying anchor, like I remember when I was in 1999, like my kids were small and I did this yoga teachers training course. I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, go for my class at 5 o'clock. Keep the breakfast ready. I asked for help from my husband that you will give the breakfast and let the children go to school on time. It happened. And today, if I think that, how did I do it? I don't know how I did it, but I used it as an anchor. I used it as an anchor that if I could do that much at that time, today my children are grown up, I don't have that many responsibilities. I can do it now. So think about the wins and the great times you had in your life when you did a lot and you achieved a lot, and use it as an anchor to do what you want to do. And let's not go down the depression side. If you see somebody who is actually going down because of self-sabotage, be that person that we can help that person to come out of the self-sabotage. Firstly, if we can help ourselves to come out of the effect of amygdala and, go and do the action. Just the only thing you need to do is to do the action, to be in gratitude, to think of abundance, to think of the beautiful things in life, to appreciate people. And last but not the least is the power of connection. The power of connection is loved by our frontal brain. When we are working so hard in our life, we forget to meet people in our own friends, our own family members. We forget to spend time with them. Let me tell you, friends, that is the best part that you can do, because the prefrontal cortex loves social connection. So if we can have social connections, if we can focus on what we are doing, if we can just do it afraid, focus on the beauty of life and focus on abundance, we can actually elevate our prefrontal cortex and we can trick the amygdala to go say bye-bye to amygdala. Thank you.
Good. You've left it high and dry. You want me to do a demo, is it?
You can take the demo, David. You want to take the demo?
Yeah, we'll do a demo here. Yeah, we'll do a demo here. Everyone, for the next 1 minute, what I want you to do is sit down, sit still, think about 5 points that you always get back, and sit in comfort and don't want to stretch out. Think of 5 things very quickly, starting now. You can write it down. I truly can't understand why so many are on the screen without coming online when you've got speakers who are trying to help you. Time's up. Now, look at the 5 points and select the one that you are constantly afraid to touch, the worst of the 5. I'll lock up the homework now too, Alka, so it'll club the 2 together. Once you have identified that 1 point, what I'm going to now suggest for you to do, for the next 21 days, write this down, next 21 days, and there's a reason. I'll give you the reason later. I would like you to go stretch on that. Even if you fail, doesn't matter. Go do it, and then come back and suck your thumb. Go do it, and then come back and suck your thumb. Go do it and then come back and suck your thumb. Keep doing it for 21 days. There's a reason for this. How many of you remember your multiplication table? I'm going to test you. Unmute yourself, please. 7 multiplied by 7. Anita.
49.
Excellent. 2 multiplied by 2. Roshana.
4. I wasn't
4.
sure it was Rashna. 4.
Right, 4. See, you're responding it straight away. But if I ask the same question of you way back when you started, you will go ah, ooh, ah. Somebody had to give you some pain on your bottom so you get in the game. Therefore, you can now respond to it. And that's taken some 20, 30 years of practice in some cases. The same thing applies with this particular task. 21 days, you need to keep doing it. Even if you fail, does not matter. After that, reflect on it, do some introspection, and now look at how you can bounce back and step up with it for the next 60 days. We are mastering it now. The first was just digging the soil. The second 60 days is to master that, which means you're now moving away from that, talking to your amygdala and saying, get out of here. I'm now mastering this skill. After the 60 days, you sit back, buy yourself a gift, rejoice. Alka and I are going to do a celebration activity sometime in the future. Rejoice. And then what you're going to do is repeat the same activity for the next 6 months. Why? It becomes an autoresponder. Do you see what I've just done for you? 21 days, dig it up. 60 days, mastery. 6 months, autoresponder. When you do that, you can pay all the courses that you've gone to. You can deposit that money in my account. Now, that's for one activity, 5 activities. We're going to get you to deep dive on one at a time. If you can master it faster, that's good. All 5 needs to be completed within a set time. Thank you. Continue, Alka.
So I have nothing else to say, friends. I'm just saying that, mastering fear also is a skill. So we are going to be scared and we are going to have fears. And every now and then we have some fear of, talking in front of somebody, fear of not talking in front of somebody, fear of being judged. We're going to have all of these fears. And what David is saying is to master, and that it's a skill to master facing that fear while we are afraid, by doing some activity and, just pushing the amygdala away. Whatever it may be, it's about anchoring on that thought, installing that positive thought in our head and anchoring on that thought and then going ahead and doing what we're supposed to be doing. The gatekeeper and this mental resilience mastery is helping us to bounce back to normal. But bounce back to normal is what? We are just coming from the amygdala to the frontal cortex. And how the more we face fear, the more we do it, the more we master this art, the quicker will be to come back to our sanctuary. The gatekeeper has to be very strong. The gatekeeper is what? The thought that I'm not going to allow this to perturb me. I'm supposing someone said something rude to me. It's okay. It's not about me. It's about them, or it's about anybody else. We don't have to accept that particular thought when somebody else is saying. When somebody doesn't answer my phone call, do I get upset? Look at that person like he's not answering. It's okay. When I send a message to somebody, some message, some happy birthday message or some happy anniversary message, if the person doesn't respond to me, is it all right? It's okay. And why should we get bothered about that? If we do get bothered about that, that means our ego is coming in between. And then we are spending so much of time, wasting our time. And amygdala wants that. Amygdala wants you to waste your time. Amygdala wants you to think negative. Amygdala wants complacency. And we are not going there. So telling yourself, I'm fasting to gossip, I'm fasting to negativity, I'm fasting to excuses, I'm fasting to blame game, and then going ahead and doing what I have supposed to be doing. That's all I have to say, friends. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anda. Thank you, David. And thank you, each one of you, for being a part of this. Thank you.
Right. Include in that list that Alka just spoke, pity parties. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Now, let me come through and finish it all off. Very simple, guys. Very simple exercise that you just went through. I don't know how many of you will go practice it. Okay. That's a gift that was given. It's worth a few $1 million if you know to master that skill of mastery, which means you move from the base 21 days to the 60 days to the 6 months, from digging it to being in a process of mastery to being in the process of autoresponder. That skill needs to be mastered for every little activity that you're frightened and fearful of. From there, very simply put, each one of you now need to look at what are you really working towards. And I'm going to drive purpose here also. I want to make sure that you have a firm direction, a purpose in life. Whether it's, I know that when I spoke to a couple of people last night, they don't have clarity, they don't have purpose yet, but they've been doing all these things in euphoria. Get a purpose. Sit down and talk to a person here who has been involved with purpose. Otherwise, plug yourself in the mastermind, mental resilience mastery, and look at how purpose can be part of your life. And then you drive for excellence. So you stop complaining about things like, I don't get enough. There's an abundance out there, only if you can see it. The world owes me a living. No, the world doesn't owe you a living. I'm not successful. Yes, you are, if you see it a different way. No one applauds me. Have you made yourself attractive inward to get people to applaud you? If not, don't blame anybody. I don't have a nice husband. I don't have a beautiful wife. Take stock. Beauty is from within. Understand. Reflect. When you polish the inside, unfortunately, the outside polishes. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Go work your mind, go work your heart, go work your soul. God bless you.
Thank you so much, David and Alka. We really appreciate your contribution and this incredibly powerful session this morning. I think you've given us obviously a lot to think about and to decide what it is that we are going to focus on in the 21-day challenge. But when we started this session, David sent me a message and said, I look like the cat that got the rat because I was brimming. David, look at the number of participants on our platform this morning.
I know.
29, the biggest, the most it's ever been.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful.
Yep.
Thank you, Enda. Thank you, David. Thank you, Dr. Alka.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming online, every single one of you. So much appreciated.
Bye, everybody.
So let us show Dr. Alka what are our principles. And first, we're going to put our heart so that I can take a picture.
Okay. There you go.
Yay, man.
Yay, there we go.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
let's do this. With zest and excitement this morning. 1, 2, 3. Faith,
Faith,
commitment,
and
discipline.
discipline.
Fires
Fires
within.
No. One more time. Do this. Follow me. Faith.
Faith,
commitment,
Commitment.
discipline.
Fire the wire within.
Fires within.
Go and memorize it. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
Anda. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.